Okay. So we got the quiz maybe from 10 and 11. What we're doing. Yeah, we got a lot of chapters. How many more do we have to do? 3? Okay. So this is right. All right. So the first one on the quiz, number 1 from summer 2013. Match the terms of the descriptions below. I hope this is easy for you. We have contributed capital, legal capital, stockholders' equity, and total assets. So it represents the total interest of all parties in the business. It is the sum of liabilities and equity. What's that? D, total assets. You know, and you love to get this question. The investment made by the owners of the corporation. That's total contributed capital. Yeah, what's legal capital? That's just the par stated value. The idea with legal capital is you can't pay dividends that reduce you below your legal capital. So what companies do is they set the par real low, so their legal capital is real low, and then they can pay dividends out of the contributed capital that way, right? Okay, so, all right. The total equity at any given time of the legal owners of the enterprise. What's that? That's the stockholders' equity. Yeah, the portion of capital required by statute to retain the business protection creditors. What's that? That's legal capital. Okay, that's it. Well, we didn't talk about this too much probably yet. Match the way a bond will sell with the given situations given. You read about it. What does par mean? Sold for face amount, right? Okay, what would that be? Bonds sell at 100. And why would that happen? Why would it sell for the face amount?
It's like one printer in this whole building.
Oh, really? That means what? The effective rate's the same as the stated rate, right? So that would be 5, I guess. So if bonds selling at par would be the answer to 1 and 5. Sound good?
Yeah, so
Okay. A discount, what does that mean? Nobody wants the bonds. That means they're going to discount it to a number less than par. What would that be? 3, bonds sell at 98. That means 98% of the face value. That's what that means. Okay, 98. All right, and then why would that happen? Because you could earn more somewhere else. So the effective rate is greater than the stated rate, right? So that would be 4. Everybody agree with that? 4 would also be B. And then which ones would be premiums? Well, it's selling for more than 100%, right? More than face. That's number 2. Selling at 103 means 103% of the face amount. Okay, and why would that happen? Because everybody likes it, because the effective rate is more, right? I'm sorry, the effective rate is less than the stated rate. The stated rate pays more, right? Bond pays more than the market requires, which is 6, isn't it?
Yes.
Get them all right? Cool. All right. Number 3. Presented below is the stockholders' equity section of the balance sheet for hockey, huh? And one's hockey and one's packy. Sorry about that. That's what happened. Keith changes problems around. There, it's the same company. So they've got what? A 6% cumulative non-participating preferred stock, $50 par. Okay. So what would their dividend be every year? I guess 6% of $50 is $3, wouldn't it? And there's 1 million shares authorized, 40,000 issued and outstanding. How much treasury stock is there? None. Okay, but so right. Otherwise, the outstanding would be less. So it's 400,000, and it's going to be $3 a share. So how much is the dividend for the preferred shareholders there? It looks like $3 times 400,000. Would you guys agree with that? These are too easy. So what's the annual dividend requirement on the preferred stock? Okay, let's write it down. The par value is what for the preferred stock? 50. What's the dividend percentage? 6%. How much is that? $3. That's per share, right, guys? Okay. How many shares are there? We're only going to pay for the outstanding ones. 400,000. What's that going to be? $1,200,000. That's the preferred stock annual dividend, right? Okay. All right. So that's to compute the annual dividend requirement of the preferred stock is C. So there's the answer to C already. Just reading the problem, we get that one. It says compute the average price. Well, first let's look at what else we have here. Common stock, $2 par, 100,000, 100 million authorized, 25 million issued and outstanding. There's no treasury stock on that either. So that's $2 times the 25 million is the 50 million. Oh, by the way, on the preferred stock, what's 400,000 times the $50 par? That's the 20 million they're showing there. Everybody knows how to read this, right? Not a big deal. Okay. And then what does that mean, the additional paid in capital preferred? Oh, they paid more than the 20 million par. They paid another 25, so they paid 45 million for it, didn't they? You guys with me? And then on the common stock, it's 50 million, but then there's additional paid in capital on that of 45. So what was paid for the common stock? Looks like 95 to me, right? And then what's retained earnings? Oh, for all the shareholders, that's how much we've accumulated of income over the years, less losses, right? Incomes, less losses, less dividends. You guys already know that too, don't you? You got a power base now going. All right, average issue price for the preferred stock. Okay, what do we issue the preferred stock for? Its par is 20 million, right? Its additional paid in capital is how much? 25 million, was it? What did they issue it for? We already just said it. What is it? 45 million. How many shares are there? How many they issued? Issued outstanding preferred stock, guys. What's it doing out there?
For which one? For common stock?
No, it's preferred. Didn't they want the...
400.
The average issue price of preferred stock, how much? 400,000 shares issued outstanding. You guys asleep? Okay. Anyway, what's that? 45,000 divided by 400, what do you get? They weren't issued for 50, they're issued for 100 and something, right? What's 45 million divided by 400,000? 112.50, is it? Another way you could, that's per share. So that's the answer to A. Too easy, isn't it? Look, this was $50 a share. We could have done it that way too. This is $50. What's 25,000 divided by the 400,000 shares? That's 62.50. So per share par value, per share additional paid in capital, add them together, you got the 112.50. You see it? Easy, isn't it? You guys can do this? I'll give you something that looks like this. Okay. When are we doing this quiz? Yeah, I haven't written it yet, so I'll find some questions for you. Okay. At December 31st, 2012, Package Corporation reported retained earnings of $90 million on its balance sheet. Well, that would be true, seeing as it's 90 million retained earnings. I see it there. Does Package Corporation have 90 million in cash set aside for future use? What's the answer to that question? Of course not. They might have no cash. They might have a lot more or a lot less cash than that. Probably a lot less. Right? You don't keep cash set aside just because you have retained earnings, right? Retained earnings isn't cash. Retained earnings is accumulation of earnings less dividends, less losses, right? So the answer to that is simply no. Compute the annual dividend. Oh, we did that. That was 42 million, wasn't it? Let's see where that comes from. Okay, D. So D is no for crying out loud. Okay. D. On January 1st, 2012, there were 3 years dividends in arrears, including the current year. All right, what's that? Including the current year.
That's excluding the current year.
Oh, it says excluding. Well, read, Keith. Okay, excluding the current year. So it's 3 years in arrears plus the current year, which would be 4 years.
Well, if it's excluding the current year, wouldn't it just be 3 years?
3 years in arrears excluding the current year.
So that the current year is not included.
That means the current year is not included.
Yeah,
If it said including the current year, it'd be 3 years. It's how I read it at first. Wrong.
Oh, okay.
So if it says excluding, that's what I was warning you about today, and then I screwed up.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, if it's excluding it, then how many are in arrears? 3 in arrears, but you have to pay the current year too, so 4 years. So it's going to be 4 years they're going to get, right? So that's going to be 4.8 million. Everybody agree with that? Right? Million two, 4 times. So if it's cumulative, right, and it says it is, right? Up above it says cumulative in the equity section, right? That's $4,800,000 they're gonna get first before common shareholders get anything. You guys agree with that? Is this participating? Nope, it's non-participating, so guess what? Preferred shareholders are gonna get that much, and what are the common shareholders gonna get? Anything over that, right? They get the first 4.8 million, don't they? You guys with me? Okay? So they say, if they're doing 12 million dividends, what do common shareholders get per share? Well, look at this, this is gonna be easy. Your total is 12 million. We already decided how much we're giving the preferred shareholders, right? Everybody sees where I got the 4.8 million, right? Okay, good. You guys are getting easier and easier and easier to teach.
So if it said including the current year, then it would be 1,200,000 times what?
Times 3.
Times 3.
Yeah. If dividends have not been paid for 3 years, including the current year, that'd be 3.6 million, right, for 3 years. If it's excluding the current year, 3.6 for the prior year, then another 1.2 for this year. Did I do it? Okay. What's common stock going to be? That's what we want. Then we want to convert it to per share. Okay, we already know what the per share is for the preferred, right? Was it $3 a share on 400,000 shares? So if it's 4 years, it's $12 a share, right? That's the 4.8 million. So the preferred stock, if you wanted it, you could divide that by the 400,000 shares. You didn't ask for it here, but we could do it. That would be what, $12? Everybody agree they get $12 per share, seeing as it's $3 a year for 4 years? Yeah. Okay, common stock would be how much? Well, first we need the total, huh? There's not going to be any participation, so everything that doesn't go to the preferred shareholders goes to the common. Was it 12 million?
Yes.
How much are we going to give to the common? 7.2 million? Ta-da! How many shares are there? Common stock. Be careful. Not 100 million that's authorized.
25.
What's wrong with you guys? Read carefully. You know, don't do what I do. Okay? Read carefully. 25 million, is it? That's what it is, isn't it? It was a million. Divide 25 million into 7.2 million, you're going to have some pennies per share, right? How much is that? 28.8 cents?
Or 29 cents rounded.
Yeah, so it'd be 28 point something. Yeah. So, you know, we'd leave it, you know, if you own 1 million shares, you'd want the decimals there, right? But that's good enough. 28.8 cents per share, you guys like it?
Yep.
And we got it, don't we? This is not hard. And then the last one's really simple. So the answer was the 28.8 cents, wasn't it? Okay. That one was B. All right, and then it says, prepare the journal entries for each of these. Oh, well, it doesn't make any difference. It's 12 million. Even if you couldn't do that, any of the rest of it, you could do this, couldn't you? Right? Hopefully you'll be able to walk right through a problem like this. Just know what you're doing. It's $12 million, isn't it? Okay, first, what do you want to do on the date of declaration? You declared it, right? This is declare it. What do you do when you declare? That's a C. Okay, when you declare, what do? You're taking it out of retained earnings and giving it to your shareholders, right? But we're not giving it to them yet. We owe it to them now. Debit retained earnings or dividends or cash dividends, right? Something like that. Okay, you can use a temporary account dividends or cash dividends if you want, which will be closed to retained earnings later, or you can just go to retained earnings, can't you? For the whole $12 million. Okay? What are you going to credit, seeing as you're not paying them? You're going to pay them later. Dividends payable. Sound good, guys? We did this. Simple, just like any liability. What are you going to do on the date of record when you go find out who owns the stock? That's the next day they mentioned, right? Okay? They told you that it's up above. It says 12 million to stockholders of record on December 15th, payable on December 31st, and it was declared on December 1st. So December 1st was declare, right? December 15th is all you do is find out who owns the stock. That's the date of record. You guys with me? Everybody stay with me. Okay? So on that date, no entry, of course. All you're doing is you're finding out who you're going to write the checks to. Now, here's the deal. I declare it. The stock's being exchanged hands all the time. I don't know who owns the stock exactly, right? okay, who all the shareholders are. So what I want is one clear date when I go find out who owned the stock on that day. So if you buy the stock before that date, you're going to get the dividend. If you're holding it on that date, you get the dividend. Got the idea? If you buy it after that date, you don't get the dividend anymore. Whoever owned it that day gets it. It's just to facilitate writing the checks. Okay? That's all it is. All right? And then at December 31st, so it's called ex-dividend if you buy it after the dividend, after the declaration, or I'm sorry, if you buy it after the date of record, you buy it ex-dividend, which means without the dividend. Make sense? Okay? So then this one would be what? To pay it. What do you pay it with? Cash. And what do you debit, everybody? Dividends payable goes away. Could you pull that off for me? Just done. Okay. 3 points. Cool. And then, oh well, get to the second part of the quiz. About half the quiz, right, is going to be, let's do a bond. Okay. What I'd do if I were you guys is I would try to determine whether it was a premium or a discount before I started. And that'll save me. It just won't do it. Okay, we'll extend the page. That'll save me from calculating it wrong and not realizing I did it. Right? Okay. If the effective or yield or market rate, which means the same thing, right? If that rate is exactly the same as the stated rate, what's the bond going to sell for? It's paying exactly what the market expects. Base math, okay? What if the effective or yield or market rate is less than the stated rate? Everybody loves this, and they're going to bid the price up. It'll sell for a premium, so it'd be more than the face amount, and you'd have a premium, right? What if the stated rate is less than the market rate? Nobody wants it. You'll have to reduce the price. They'll bid the price down. It will sell for a discount, and we'll record a discount. What's this one? It is an $8 million face. That's the amount that's going to be paid at the end. 5%, 20-year bond, semi-annual. That makes 40 periods, right?
Yeah, we can.
It's going to be. Do we have a table, 40 periods in the
No,
table?
we only have one for 40.
Oh crap! Okay, I must have handed out tables to everybody for this one. Maybe what we'll do is we'll turn it into a. Let's turn it into an. What do we have on our table?
We have the budget is
20 and then 10.
20. Yeah.
Geez. Do they have 8?
I do.
Yeah.
Let's make it a 4-year bond so it's something different than we did before. Change that to 4 years. So change the 20-year bond to a 4-year bond. So we've got it on our table, just so you can look it up on the table. If you have a nice calculator, it doesn't make any difference. You can calculate it anyway, can't you? But let's make it a 4-year bond. That's for short, but we'll make it a 4-year bond. Okay? Anyway, so that's going to be 8 payments then, right? Double the payments. And what's the interest going to be every 6 months?
3%.
Well, that's just going to yield. But that's where your discount at is 3%. I agree with that. Cut that one in half. And then, but the 5% would be what? We'll pay 2.5% every 6 months. You guys with me on that? Okay. So let's write. So, and what are we going to discount it at again? If the effective or yield rate is 6%, we're going to discount it at 3. Okay, now look at this. It pays 5. The market says 6. Who wants this bond? Nobody. It's going to sell for a what? Discount. You got it. So you know it's going to sell for less than $8 million, even before we start calculating. So if something goes screwy in your calculations, right, you'll pick it up right away. You'll know. Yes, ma'am.
Why would no one want it if the percent that you get back is more than?
They want it if you reduce the price of your bond enough so that instead of it paying 5, it really effectively pays 6, they'll buy it.
Okay.
They don't. What I mean is they don't want 5% if they can earn 6 with the same risk level. So what you have to do is reduce the price of your bond until the amount of cash you're giving them becomes 6% instead of 5%.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to pay face more. That's what I really should say. They're going to pay less, right? And we can compute how much they're going to pay less. That's it. That's what the discount is. This is really valuable, you guys. Everything's valued this way, right? The discount rate and the amount of time and what the cash flows are, everything you need to know to value anything, right? You can calculate what you're going to have when you retire, right? You can calculate how much you need to retire, pay in now to have a certain amount when you retire. All kinds of things you can do with this. You can calculate what a car payment's going to be, a house payment's going to be, right? So what a bond's worth. We're going to calculate what a share of stock's worth this way in accounting 211 or in finance 315. Okay? Looking forward to that. Yeah. Good. It's really kind of fun. It's kind of neat. You take any company and come up with your own estimate of what the stock should be sold and so forth. What's that cool? All right, so here we go. What do we know about this bond? It's got face of $8 million. That means that $8 million is going to be paid out at the end of the term, no matter what we issue this bond for, right? No matter what we invest in it, right? No matter what price the bond changes hands for, it's going to be $8 million at the end, right? Okay, and it's for how many years? This is right on the bond. 4 years we decided it was, but what's that really? That's 8 6-month periods, right? 8 semi-annual. And that's important because it determines when we get the interest, right? Say, semi-annual payments, 8 semi-annual payments. So 8 is the number of payments, right? What's the interest rate? Stated rate?
5.
But for 6 months, because it's semi-annual, it's what? 2.5% semi-annual. Got it? Everybody good? Okay, and then what else do we need to know? When it's due, right? Oh, we said that. It's 4 years. Okay. What else are we missing? Anything? Oh, the effective interest, right? That would not be on the bond, right? So the effective rate is what? Effective or yield or market all means the same thing. How much is that? 6%, but that would be for a year. You always state interest rates per year, don't you? Right? Unless you say it's per month or whatever, okay? So this would be 3% for 6 months, right? Semi-annual. Can we value this thing now? Absolutely, there's nothing to it, right? I have a present value. Whoops. I have a future value. I have a future value 8 periods from now, 8 semi-annual periods of $8 million. And I'd like to know what that's worth right now, right? N equals 8, interest rate equals how much? Whoop, careful. 3%. I'm going to calculate the interest payment at 2.5%. I'm going to discount at 3%, right? Okay. What's the interest, by the way, if we calculate the interest on this? 8 million times 5% would be 400,000 a year, is that right? 400,000, I think. Okay, but what's it going to be for half a year? 200,000, 2.5% times 8 million, right? So the cash flow, interest cash flow, is going to be 200,000. It is, isn't it? Per 6 months.
And you divided that by 2 because it is a semi-annual.
It is semi-annual. Both the stated interest rate and the effective rate get divided by 2 because it's semi-annual. And the number of periods get doubled because it's semi-annual. Make sense? Okay? We got it. So let's discount that. That's taking it times 1 over 1.03 raised to the 8th, huh? Everybody agree? What's that factor? 3%, 8 periods.
0.7894.
If I invest 79 cents at 3% interest for 8 periods, it will grow to $1. And I will have earned, I guess, 21 cents of interest. You see it? Is it agreed? So each one of those $8 million received 8 periods from now, discounted at 3%, are only worth 79 cents right now. So what's the whole 8 million worth right now? Let's 8 million times 79 cents. 8 billion times 0.7894. What do you get for that one?
6315200.
That $8 million is only worth $6,315,200 right now. Got it? The difference is going to be interest you earn if you earn 3%. Okay, then the other piece is the ordinary annuity payment, which is the interest, right, guys? Ordinary because it's the end of the period. How much is that? Well, we decided it's 200,000. So those are the two things we're valuing, right? But that's not 200,000. It's 200,000 how many times? 8. Well, so what's 200,000 times 8? Yeah, we're valuing 1,600,000 here, right? So this deal is interest of 1,000,006 plus principal of 8 million. It's 9.6 million that we're getting the present value of. You guys agree with that? But instead of taking 200,000 times the present value factor for one period and then for 2 periods and 3 on up to 8 and add them all together, what we can do is we can add up the 8 factors. That's what's on the annuity table. That's what your calculator would do for you too, right? Okay? So in the annuity table, they add up those 8 factors. 3% for 8 periods. So look at what? The present value of an ordinary annuity table. Got it? Or you tell your calculator 3%, 8 periods, payments at the end of the period. And you ask for present value. So what is that factor? It's still n equals 8. I equals 3%, right? But it's going to be 8 factors added together. So is that, by the way, is that factor going to be more or less than 8? It's got to be worth less, right? Because we're taking interest out, right? Be worth more, you know, we're adding. Okay. All right, so what is that factor?
7.0197.
Why is it so close to 8? Because 3% is a tiny interest rate, really, right? But the difference, if I invest $7.02 and I'm going to earn 3% interest over those 8 periods, I can take out $1 at the end of each period. And I'll take out $8 and I've only invested $7.02, right? So I earn 92 cents, 98 cents. Is that right? You invest $7.02, you take back 8. You earn 98 cents, huh? So is this just getting to be common sense now? Just, yeah, I got it. Let's keep it going. Okay. All right. So we're not valuing 200. We're valuing $1,600,000, right? Because this is what $8 is worth, and we're getting 200,000 8 times. So take 200 times 7.1091. 7.0197 times 200. What do you get?
1,403,940.
If you invested $1,403, whoops, $1,403,940, right? You will be able to take out $1,600,000, and you will have earned the difference in interest, almost $200,000. You got the idea? How much interest would you be earning? Remember, you're taking out the $200,000 at the end of each period for 8 periods. You will have earned the difference, right? In interest, a couple $100,000, 197 looks like. Okay, and you will have earned what? 3%. Got it? So if I add these two together, what do I get? The present value of the sum plus the present value of the annuity must be the present value of the bond, because the bond is just a lump sum at the end and interest payments. Issuance price, you got it. Investment amount, issuance amount, that's it. It's the present value of the future cash flows. How much is that? 7, whoops, that's one too many sevens. Okay. 7719. 140. Ta-da. Discount or a premium on an $8 million bond that sells for $7,719,000. Clear discount to me. Everybody good? Okay, now, so that's the first answer, and I'd give you a lot of the points for doing that one, right? Okay, that's the hardest part, probably. Okay, now, what are we going to do? We are going to get rid of that discount over the term, right? Because we are going to be receiving 2.5% interest in terms of cash, right? But we want to recognize interest revenue or interest expense, depending on which side of the deal we're on here, right? At what rate? What do we discount at? 3%. So what are we going to compound at now? 3%. Okay, make sure you do that. Don't switch to the 2.5, it won't unravel for you, will it? A fairly common mistake, yeah.
You only use like the numbers on the bond when you're finding interest.
You got, when you're
After
finding the
that-
amount of cash flow,
Okay,
that's it.
and then after that, you use like the market value.
Always use the market, because you're discounting at that, so you should compound at that. Make sense? This working? It's logical, right, guys? So if you discount at one rate, you gotta compound at that rate, huh? Let's hope so. Okay, so let's give it a shot. Let's take our 77. Okay. Let's take our 7719140. This is ridiculous. Okay, there's our value. Let's do both sides. This says prepare the entry that makes you record the issuance, but let's do the issuance and the investment. Because I could ask you for either side or both, right? Okay? So, let's do both sides of the deal. All right? You find the investor who is also the lender, who is also the purchaser of the bond, I guess. And on the other side, we have the issuer, who is also the borrower, who is also the seller. I could call him any of those things, couldn't I? All right, so let's do it. And the day the bond was issued was 1/1/13, was it? So here we go. What do you want to do on 1/1/13? You guys work this one yet?
You're the issuer, you debit, or this Trillium would be the issuer,
Yep.
so they debit cash.
They get the cash. How much?
Say 7719140.
Yeah. What would they credit?
Bonds payable.
Okay, by convention, they put the whole thing into bonds payable, don't they? The base amount into bond payable. How much was that? Yeah. What's the difference? It's the discount. Yeah, you got it. It's going to be discount on bonds payable, and what is that thing? The difference between the two, and it's what? It's going to be additional interest I'm paying. Because they only borrowed $7,700,000 and I paid back $8 million. You'll never convince me that's not more interest. It is, right? Because the $1,600,000 interest isn't enough, is it? Cash they're paying. They have to pay another couple $100,000, almost $300,000 for it. Okay? So what's the difference? What is that about? 280,860. Okay. Fantastic. We know what the discount is. So the total amount of interest that is actually going to be paid is $1,600,000 plus 280,860, right? That's it. It's $1,880,860. It really is, isn't it? Because you only borrowed $7,719,000 and you're going to pay them back $8 million, plus you're going to pay them $1,600,000 of interest. So how much interest expense do we want over these 8 payments over the 4 years? That amount, right? Because that's what you're paying. You know, that's it. Okay?
If it was a premium,
If it was a premium, you'd have a credit to the premium account, right? The premium would be an additional liability, so your liability would be $8 million plus the premium, right? Because you borrowed more than $8 million. Okay? The discount is a what? Contra liability, right? It's the bond payable less the discount is the carrying amount of the bond, right, guys? Now, what do we want to do with that discount over time? Or if it's a premium, the premium over time? Get rid of it, right? That's it. How? It goes to interest expense on the issuer side, and it goes to interest revenue on the investor side. Okay? That's it. Because I have more in this case, right? Or less if it was a premium of interest. Okay. What would the investor do? Debit what? Well, what happened to him in terms of cash?
credit cash.
They gave up the cash, right? Sure, they credit cash for $7,719,140, right? And debit what for $7,719,140? What do we call this thing? I made an investment. Good idea to call it an investment.
Investment on,
I'm going to keep it the whole time.
held to maturity.
Held to maturity bonds. You don't have to memorize it, you guys. You're holding it the whole time. Call it held to maturity, right? First you memorize it and then make it make sense, right? You know, just rote memory or something here. It's not recall, it's common sense. So an investment in held to maturity bond. If we're going to hold it for less than that, I call it a trading security available to sell short term or available to sell long term. I'm holding it the whole time, and I account for it totally differently. The later chapter, yes.
So if we're doing a premium, it would just be the same investment held to
You got it.
bond.
Only be more than 8 million. And what are we going to do with the difference between that 7,719,000 and the 8 million? We have to get rid of it, right? Because by the end, they're going to pay us 8 million. I'm going to get rid of the discount on the issuer side, and I also have to get rid of the discount on the investor side. But the discount on the investor side is included in the investment account. I wanted that to grow to 8 million by the end. Or if it had been a premium, it'd be more than 8 million. I want to reduce it down to 8 million by the end. That do it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's bad. All right, good. Okay, so then what happens? What logically happens next? And they want you to do the amortization table. Well, that's just writing it down, right? Okay, so the entry would have been this they were looking for, or I was looking for, I guess, right? But I can ask for both sides or either side. So what happens 6 months later, of course? Interest payment, right? So when you look at 112 to 630 in that amortization table, what's the beginning balance? 7,719,140. That's how much is owed, right? I write that in there. And then what's the interest expense for that 6 months? What's the discount rate? 2.5% is what we're paying in cash, right, of the face amount. What do we discount at?
6%. So my annuals will be 3.
3. We discounted to 3, didn't we? So what do you want to compound that? 3. So take your 7,719,140. So here's the way to think about it. I have investment in held to maturity bonds, right? Why did I do that? I got all kinds of room and I put it way over on the side. Strange. Woo! That's a big guy. All right. Let's do this. Investment held to maturity bonds. What's in there? 7,719,140. So what would I do? Take that times what?
3%.
3%. Yeah, let's do it. That's it. Okay? And then we'll have the coupon payment too. On the other side, what do we have? I have a bond payable of how much? Oh, 8 million. And I have a discount of how much? $280,860. What's the difference between those two numbers? The net carrying value of the bond. It's 7,719,140. Take the same 7,719,140 times 3%, and what do you bet you get the same interest expense? The interest expense will equal the interest revenue, in other words, right? Everybody with me on this? Common sense. Okay, at this point, common sense. A lot to know, but still common sense. Okay, good. Let's do the journal entry, huh? What's it going to look like? Okay, this is going to be at June 30th, I guess is the first one. So when you calculate the interest, if you were down there in that interest expense column, what I wanted you to do was write down the interest expense, right? Who has the interest expense? The borrower or the lender? Don't make yourself laugh. What do you think? I think the issuer has interest expense, don't you? They borrow the money. So this will be interest expense. What's the other side going to have? Interest revenue, of course. How much? What was 7,719,140 times 3%? What'd you get?
231,574.2.
Okay, so let's just round it. 231,574 sound good? Okay, there's our first one. Okay, in real life we wouldn't round, we'd pay the pennies, of course. 231,574. 231,574. It'd be the same on either side, of course. Okay, and then what happens? Let's see. The issuer is paying the interest, aren't they? So what would you credit cash for? What are you paying? What was our cash flow we said we were gonna do every time?
200.
Was it 200 even? Oh. All right, that's it. How much cash would the investor get then? I bet they get the amount that the issuer pays them. The borrower pays them, right? Okay, the lender gets the amount that the borrower pays them. Okay, fine. All right, and so what's the 31,574 going to do? We're going to get rid of discount. So this discount we had up here, we said we wanted to get rid of, we're starting to do it. You like it? All right. And what do we do on the other side? We're going to get rid of the discount over here too, but the way we do that is to increase the investment in held to maturity bonds, right? We're going to gradually take it up from 7719140 to 8 million. So the investment in held to maturity bonds. Good. It's making sense, isn't it? It's worth cranking through these a few times, isn't it, guys? Okay, you get it straight, and then relax when you do the test, or the quiz and the test and the final, because you're going to know how to do it. Just relax and do it, okay? Calculate it. Okay, so what do we get? 31,574, everybody? So what's left? What's the new carrying value of it? So that was the first one going across. Oh, what was the amortization? The coupon payment was how much, by the way? That's the 200,000. What's the amortization? 31,574. That's just the journal entry. You're writing it down that way, huh? If I ask for the journal entry instead, who cares, right? Okay, and the entry to record the first payment was this one, right? Okay, that's D. All right. So then what? What's my new carrying value? 7719140 plus 31,574. What do you get? 7. Okay, what's my new carrying value over here? 288.60 less 31,574 is what? 249 or something? 280860 less 31574. See what's going on? 280 less 31.
249, 286.
286. Take 8 million less 249, 286, and what do you get, of course? Yeah, it's a miracle, isn't it? It's the same on both sides, of course, right? Same deal. Lots of people. Okay, so then what would we do? And in fact, I want you to do it. On December 31st, what happens in that amortization table? You go again, right? Okay, another interest payment. So let's figure out what our interest would be. Okay? Let's do that. What do you do for your interest? What's the carrying value on both sides? 7,750,714, right? What do you take it times? 3%. That's what you discounted at. You got to compound it at that, don't you? You guys good? So how much is that? 3% times 7,750,714. How much is the interest on that one?
232,521. It's 0.42.
Okay, there you go. That's the interest for the second year. You guys good? And notice it gets a little bigger because they borrowed some interest, right? You borrowed 31,000 interest. If it was a premium, it'd be getting smaller each time because you're paying some of the interest down. That's all. The question, or did that answer?
So keep on paying the same every time.
Oh yeah, because isn't that what my bond says? Yeah, 2.5% of 8 million is 200,000 every time. It never changes. Okay, yeah. Remember when you printed the bond, you knew what the face amount was going to be. You knew what your state interest is. You just don't know the market rate. And besides, the market rate might be changing. This bond might be increasing or decreasing in value every day as the market interest rate changes. Because expected inflation changes the market rate, and the riskiness of this company changes the market rate, right? So it's a moving target. That's just the same reason stock prices are changing. Expected inflation and riskiness of the company, expectations change. Expected future cash flows changes, right? In that case, in this case, they don't. It's the same. Okay, unless you think you're not going to get it. So let's do December 31st then. try that one. So yeah, what did you just say on the cash? Stays exactly the same, right? You guys agree with that? Cash, exactly the same. But what else do we know? We need interest revenue here. And we're going to amortize some of the investment, the premium, right, to investment held to maturity bonds. It's going to be exactly the same journal entry with different numbers, huh? Except the cash stays the same. Here it's going to be interest expense. And I'm going to gradually get rid of that discount up here, aren't I? The discount on bonds payable goes away. Oh. If I do this 8 times, what's the discount going to be? 0, and there'll be an $8 million bond left, right? What's going to be the balance over in the investment held to maturity bonds after I do it 8 times? It'll be $8 million. When I get paid $8 million, it's an easy journal entry, huh? If I've got the bond, I'll pay off the $8 million. Okay, I got the bond payable. All right, so how much interest revenue did we just say? 232,521, right? So in that amortization schedule, that's what you chose interest expense for the second payment, okay? Coupon payment, 200. What's the amortization? It's the difference, right? 32,521, is that what that is? So I can either ask for journal entries, ask for a table, who cares? Right? Easy. Right? Either one. Okay, now what do? That 32,521 changes the value again, doesn't it? What's the value this time? For the third one, so we're now in the third row of the amortization table. 7750714 plus 32,521, 7783. 235. Is that right? 7783235. So they could actually read those. Okay? With the fine print, my writing's hard, bad enough. And so what would happen here? I got the 32,521 coming out again. All right? What do I have left? 249,286 less 32,521. What's that? 216 something? Right? 7, 65, is that what that is? So this is 6, is it? That's 1? Yeah. So what's 8 million less 216, 765? Give me a minute. Is that 7783235? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the interest going to be? 3% of that for the next time, right? Okay, so your carrying amount, right, is 7783235, beginning balance. Okay, and then you take that times 3% to get your interest expense. How much is it for the last year then? Or the last 6-month period?
233,497.
Get a little bigger. Then you do journal entry for that one. This is ridiculous, isn't it? So easy.
For, if you're going to do it for premium, I'm assuming it would be the same thing, and would it be
Exactly.
a premium upon payable?
Yeah, only your cash going out is more than your interest.
Okay.
Or your cash coming in or going out, either way.
So
Your
you
cash
keep-
flow is going to be more than the interest, so you get rid of the premium
So
that
you
way.
got,
Yeah, you know what we'll do? We got time. You guys want me to make up a premium one? You guys calculate it, work it, and then we'll do it together.
What
Yeah.
about E?
So you see the interest. Yeah, we'll finish this one. Okay, let's go ahead and do the entry on this. You didn't have to do all these entries, but if you know how to do the entries, you can do the table, okay?
Right.
That table just wants what's in the entries. I guess you've saved your writing a little bit. So at June 30th, 14 is what this one would have been, right? What would you do? You'd still debit cash for 200, wouldn't you? You credit interest revenue for the amount of interest revenue you've got. How much? 233, we just calculated it. 233,497, is that what it was? And what's that, 33,497? That's going to be increasing the investment, getting rid of the discount, right? Investment held to maturity, or at bonds, right? Investment, that's an N. Okay, so 334. So what you do, you'd have the 33,497 added to that one. You just keep going. Like I said, after doing it 8 times, it's going to be 8 million in there. Okay. All right. What we do on the other side over here, we're going to gradually get rid of that discount. Started out at 288.60. We're gradually getting rid of it, huh? Okay. How are we going to do that? Well, your interest expense is how much this time? 233,497. Credit cash for how much? 200,000. And debit discount on bonds payable. You got it. How much? The difference, 33,497. And that 33,497 will come out of here now, won't it? So that'll be less now, which makes your carrying value more, which will give you the same carrying value on both sides of the deal. Okay? So, then what happens at the end, in part E? What would you do in part E? I think I would retire the bond, huh? What's the carrying value of the investment right now? 8 million. After you amortize, right? 8 times. So, how much are they going to give you? 8 million. And what are you going to not have anymore? You don't have the investment anymore. And what was the carrying value in the bond after you amortize 8 times? 8 million. Boy, is that a simple journal entry, huh? You got 8 million for an investment that's on your books at 8 million. Debit cash, credit investment. What happens on the other side, of course? They owe the money. Credit cash 8 million, right? Paid it out. And what do they have left? Bond payable, don't they? How much is it? 8 million. What about the discount? You already amortized it all. The account's 0. You don't have to mess with it. Okay. What if I retire the bond before I'm done? Maybe we'll do one of those too. It wasn't on this quiz, but sometimes I throw it out. Okay, remind me to do that with the previous one. Okay. So I'll make up a problem for you.
Quick question. So all these journal entries here were for the issuer?
No. The one on the quiz was for the issuer. So all you would have done is this entry over here, right?
For all the ones.
And then it asked for the first payment, so you just needed the first one here, and then you needed to do an amortization table. But you need to know how to do all the entries, so you can do the amortization table, right? Yeah. And then if I ask for the investor, you do this side. If I ask for both, like I will on a test and a final, right? And a quiz I might not, because we might not have enough time. Depends what else I ask you about, right? Okay, we good? All right, gang, let's do this then. I'll make up a bond, and I'm going to want you guys to give me the effective interest rate, okay? I'll write a bond, and we'll make it 10 years semi-annual. You've got 20 in your table, okay? So this bond is for $1 million, 10 years, semi-annual. Got it? Payments semi-annually. And it's going to have an interest rate, I hereby decree, of, 7%. That's the stated interest rate. All that's on the face of the bond, right? Maturity value is $1 million. Term is 10 years, semi-annual, 7%. What other piece of information do we need? Effective rate, market rate. So give me one. To make this thing sell at a premium. Everybody will like it if what?
So the effective rate is lower than the market.
The effective rate is lower than the market, and they'll bid the price up until it gets the market rate, right? Okay, so what do you want the market to be? Something what?
6.
Less than 7. 6, 5, 4, whatever, huh? So you want to make it 6?
Yeah, correct.
Perfect. Question? Or did I answer?
Well, I was just saying we didn't have, I guess we don't necessarily need a 3.5.
No, because we're gonna use that to calculate the cash flow.
Okay.
Yeah, but we do have 3%, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh, we're discounting again at 3? Oh, it doesn't matter. Right? You guys know how to discount by now, right? Just discount at 3. Oh, it's a different number of periods anyway. How many periods is it? 20, 30%. What's the interest gonna be? 1 million times 7% would be 70,000 a year, is that right? How much is gonna be instead every 6 months? 35, 3.5 times 3. Go ahead and calculate. Give me the first 2 periods amortization recorded on both sides. You're gonna record for the investor, right? And for the issuer. Record the issuance of the bond, purchase of the bond, right? Both sides. And then show the first 2 interest payments. And then retire at the end. Nah, don't retire at the end. It's the same interest payment. Just forget it. Okay, so give me the first 2 interest payments. Can you do it? This one will be a premium. We already decided that. Which means it's selling for what? More or less than $1 million? More, of course. Good. They're staring. How to do it. You have a class in here?
Oh, not until like 5, sorry.
Oh, okay. We'll be out of here before that. I hope long before that, don't you guys? Remind me though to show retiring funds. 2 interest payments. I bet they had good food when Texas Roadhouse came. Tuesday, February. You probably had about 20 minutes or 25 minutes to do something like that. On a quiz. Half that time on the test. Then you're supposed to know what you're doing. 1.5 times on the final. Relaxable.
Will be retiring it too, or no?
No, we'll retire after you're done doing that.
Yeah.
Figure out what its value is. Its carrying value, and then we'll assume the market value it.
Okay, now how do you figure out the cash? Why?
Okay, you knew the cash because you calculate your present value, right? So you know what the cash interest payments are, don't you?
Yeah, but why did it change on the last journal entry loaded? It went from like 7 million cash to 200.
Oh, you're talking about.
Oh, 200 was the interest rate for 6 months, stated rate, times the face amount, right? That's how you determine how much interest there is. So here, the cash flow for interest is going to be 3.5% times a million. 35,000 is the cash flow every time. But you need that in order to get the present value of the bond, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what, you already know it, you calculate the present value of the interest payments. The interest payments are 35,000.
Yeah,
But that's not
so.
annuity.
You debit.
No, it is annuity.
Yeah, you
It's
debit.
35,000 over and over, 20 times.
Oh,
It's
okay, so
30,
that
the
should.
total is gonna be 35,000 times 20, maybe that's what you're thinking. The total interest they're gonna pay in cash is 35,000 times 20, which is 700,000. So they're gonna pay $1,700,000 back,
Are you talking about the
no matter
first
what
one?
they borrow.
Yeah.
Does that help?
Credit, the cash is 35.
Yeah.
So when you're doing your journal entries, it's 35,000 every time.
Okay.
And at the end,
The
you're gonna pay
issuer or
$1 million,
the investor? Okay.
right? 35,000 interest 20 times and $1 million
Oh,
of
so this would be.
no matter what you issue the bond for.
The issuer.
And you
or
issued the
second
bond for a little more than $1 million, right?
Premium will be debited with the first
Okay.
journal entry.
It's a good use of your time, you guys. You can do this on your own too, right? Look at the bond problem, use the ones they got in the book, it's
Under
fine.
the interest revenue.
And then you can look up the answer.
For the issuer and the investor. That's right, for investor, investment and trading.
It's just supposed to do the first two journal entries.
Do the first two interest payments. Do the issuance, then do the first two interest payments, and do the investment, and the first two interest receipts, right? Both sides. You got it? You guys getting close?
Yeah.
Pretty sure everybody did the same. You guys are all gonna root for Oregon now that Kentucky's gone, right? You was never there.
You can, so.
No, okay. You know what? That could be the championship game.
I don't know.
Oregon. If they both went through.
Well, if Ison beats North Carolina, then
that's
they're gonna play like the winner of Wisconsin and Notre Dame, and they've already beat Wisconsin and Notre Dame.
Yeah, so it could be all right.
Oh,
Notre Dame played pretty well, though. Oh, you know, they were in trouble. And
I thought they were gonna lose to Michigan.
I thought they were too.
Did you see the Texas A&M game?
No, I missed it.
Oh,
It's
my.
really something. 12 points with 3 minutes left or something?
No, 12 points with 40 seconds.
40 seconds, and they did it.
It's insane.
Is it overtime then?
They want to know what stuff.
Yeah. Wow. What, 4 trees?
No, well, they just kept stealing the inbound site.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand.
How did that happen? Who were they calling?
Northern Iowa.
What a shame. Poor Northern Iowa. Cinderella team, too. Should have been able to hold it. Oh well.
Did you see that guy trying to make another half-court shot? The last, 10 seconds of the game, he, threw it up from half-court, because he did it the first game,
Yeah.
but not.
Tried to do it again. Thinks he's leading a charmed life, I guess. It wasn't the first one. Yeah. I didn't get to watch too many of them. You?
Never letting people remake their brackets. I'm starting the Sweet 16 for the one bracket got so messed up.
Too demoralizing. Huh? I don't have any teams left at all.
Yeah, I don't think anybody has no Tennessee over it.
No.
After Michigan State came, there was honestly, there was no such bracket anymore.
Yeah. I still got Oregon in my bracket. I always pick them to win it all if they get in the tournament.
I think UConn to win it all.
They look pretty good, too.
Yeah.
They look good.
I'm a UConn fan.
Oh, I see, yeah. They came close just
We get in a couple of years.
They came pretty close, and that was pretty good. Just a good team. Yeah, almost pulled it off.
Yeah, Oregon barely won.
I know.
That's why it's a little scary.
And that's a good team they're playing, too. Yeah, pretty good. I don't think it's the best team, I have to say. Well, maybe they gave Oregon a good game. A better way to look at it, I suppose, because Oregon's supposed to be a #1 seed, but whatever that means this year. They won their league and they won their tournament. They're #1 seed. Anyway, how many periods, guys? 10. 10 payments. Whoops, 20. 20 payments. Good keep. I can't work the problem. So 20 payments, okay. And then what's the interest rate? 3.5%, right? That's the amount that's going to be paid. 3.5% of $1 million was 35,000. Is that what you guys did? So you got a new interest payment, annuity payment of 35,000 for 20 payments, okay? And then the lump sum at the end is the $1 million. What are you going to discount at if it's semi-annual? 3%. So you're good, right? So what you did was you took a future value to sum 20 periods from now of $1 million, and you discounted that for 20 periods at 3%, whatever the interest rate is. That's taken it times 1 over 1.03, raised to the 20th. You could go look up that factor, whatever it is. And what did you get for this? Oh, that's the whole thing. 1074. 413. Did everybody get that? Okay, so this would be, how much is $1 million times that? It's something less, of course, than $1 million. How much is that?
553,700.
Okay. And then we've got interest payments, 35,000, but it's 35,000 20 times. How much is that? That's 700. So this bond's going to pay off 1,700,000, isn't it? You guys agree with that? Yeah. So no matter what's paid for it, and then you take that times the factor in 20, interest rate 3%, but for an annuity, huh? And that's 20 factors added together. How much is that? Something less than 20. There's interest out of it.
14.8775.
That's it?
Yeah.
Times 35,000 was how much?
713.
Add those two together and you get 1074413. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so that's what we're going to issue it at. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
We'll see you later. Okay, so here we go. Let's do both sides of the deal, huh? Gotta learn how to use this, I guess. Hands are all screwed up somehow. All right, here we go. Let's do the investor, both sides, right? And let's do the issuer. So on day one, right? Day one. What do we do? How much does the investor pay out? agree with that?
Yeah.
What do they call it?
Investments, sure.
Got it. Is there a premium there? Yes, it's more than the million, right? Next one. Okay, what's on the other side? The issuer borrowed the money, they get the cash. Everybody staying with me? These look like the numbers you have on your page?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Bond payable?
Yeah.
And this time we can see the premium. This is an additional liability because the real liability is not $1 million, it's $1,074,413, isn't it? And that's your premium, okay? All right. So then let's do the first interest payment. I think I could have done it faster than you guys did. I don't know what's wrong with you guys. You're young, brains still work. Be faster than an old man, come on. Okay, June 30th. What happens? This is the first page, okay? What are we gonna do? These guys are gonna receive cash. How much? The interest is how much? 35,000, you got it, right? It's 35, okay? Because that's what you discounted, that's gotta be what they're paying them. Okay, they receive it, I bet the other ones gave it up, right? Because they're paying interest. I bet you these guys have interest revenue, what do you think? I bet you these guys have interest expense, don't you think? And then we're going to get rid of the premium. I know the premium is a credit, it's got to be debit premium. So if I screw up my calculation, I'll know, won't I? And here I want my investment held to maturity bonds to get smaller, right? That's recording the premium and the amortizing the premium. Investment held to maturity bonds get smaller over here, doesn't it? I want to get that down to $1 million. So I know what my interest is going to look like. Let's calculate what our interest revenue is. What's the carrying value right at the beginning? 1074413. Would you guys agree with that? Times what interest rate? What do we discount at? 3%. What should we compound at? The same thing, whatever it is. I hope I don't give you 6. It'd be too easy on it. Okay, it's 3%. What is that? That's making a difference. What rate it is?
32,232.
232. Ta-da. What's the difference? 2,768. You know what that is? We're brilliant, aren't we? All right, let's do another one. What do we do for the next one? Same thing, only you need a new carrying value, don't you? So what's your new carrying value? It was 1074413, and you just amortized off 2768 of it, didn't you? Right? You reduced that premium. You reduced the investment too, right? On the investor side, you reduce the investment by that amount, and on the bond side, you reduce your premium by that amount. Still the same, right, on both sides? So what is the new carrying value of this thing? This would be 1/1 year 2, I guess, huh? The next year, or 12/31, whatever you want to do. Okay, what's the entry going to be, by the way? Debit cash, how much? 35. Credit investment held in maturity bonds for whatever the amortization is. And credit what? Interest revenue, for whatever the revenue is. What are we going to do on the other side? They're going to pay out the cash, how much? It's always 35,000, isn't it? 20 times we're going to do this. Debit interest expense, am I right? For the same amount as the interest revenue is on the other side. And debit what? Getting rid of the premium, keep going. Premium on bonds, premium on bonds payable. Now, what is this thing? Is it going to get bigger or smaller? See, as our carrying value is going down, our interest is going to be less each time, isn't it? Right? Okay, that's what's happening, because the premium is part of the interest. Okay, anyway, so what is it? 107,413 plus 2768. Is that what you did?
Yeah.
What is the new carrying value?
107,781.
Did everybody get that?
Is that right?
No. Here, let's do it this way. Woo! That was a bit much. Let's do it like this. You can see it. What was the carrying value we had before when we started?
1,074,000.
1074413, everybody see it there? And it's the same on both sides. You guys know that, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, so this is the investment in held to maturity bonds. It's also the total of the bond payable, right, of $1 million plus the premium of 74, right? It's the same on both sides. And then what did we just do to it? We just reduced it by the amount of our amortization. How much was our amortization here again? 2768. Okay, so let's take 2768 away from that, right? We're gradually going down to $1 million. This is what you did, right? What do you get? 1 million. It's not 077. It gets smaller, not bigger. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
That confused me.
Yeah. No, you should have said, geez, what are you doing? That's
I was
wrong.
like, well, maybe
You
you
need
do
to
it
be like
backwards.
me.
'cause
Just
it
be
was
mean
a-
about it, right? You guys are sharp. You know what you're doing. You just slipped a gear, didn't you? Right? Whoever did that. Right? One of you did. Right? Okay, so that doesn't make sense, does it? Write it down in a T account and you can't go wrong. Right? You try to remember what you were doing instead of figuring it out.
or maybe just thought.
1071. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can act discount.
What's the rest?
645.
Use T accounts, it'll come out every time. It'll work every time, right? You're increasing, yeah, if you're below the face amount, you're increasing to the face amount. If you're above, you're decreasing to it.
Yeah, those.
1071 what?
645.
Okay, good. So guess what? It's going to be 3% of that now. And that's all you do, and you just keep going, right? Period after period. So how much is that?
3%.
Yeah, 3% of 1071, 645.
32,149.
And you can see it got a little bit smaller, right, compared to last time? Okay? That's because the carrying value is going down a little bit. They're paying more interest than the interest needs to be, huh? Right? Remember? Okay, so what do we got? Credit investment held to maturity bonds are how much? 2851, is that what that is?
Yes, sir.
We are good. We are good. Okay? So what's our new carrying value of the bond? And we'll do one more thing here. Then we'll get out of here. New carrying value of the bond is what? I just amortized how much of the premium gain? What does that make the carrying value of the bond?
1068330.
Okay, and on the other side of the deal, what they would have is bond payable, 1 million, true? And what they start at in the discount, or the premium rather, on bond payable? It started out at 74,413, did it? And then they debited it for 2768, didn't they? And then they debited it for 2851, didn't they? And what would be the balance left in there? 68,330. Sound familiar? 68,330 and a million is 1,068,330, huh? Okay, now we go out to the market and we find out what our bond's selling for, and the interest rate has changed, right? So, and we have some excess cash, and we say, well, let's pay it off. Let's pay this bond off. So let's say that I can pay off the bond for $1,100,000. Or I can pay off the bond for $1,050,000. Two different scenarios. Okay? What would your entry be on both sides if they paid off the bond for A and B? Could you do it? You guys, you can have gains and losses on liabilities too, not just on assets. This is going to be a gain or a loss. What's the carrying value of the thing? 1,068,000. What if I give $1,001,000 for that? I guess I lost the difference. What if I only give $1,050,000 for it? I guess I gained the difference. Okay, so yeah, one's going to have a gain, one's going to have a loss, right?
So if it's less than here, the gain is different from the liability.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so on the liability side, right, I have a bond payable If I pay it off, I'm gonna debit bonds payable, aren't I? For the million? What else am I gonna get rid of? Gotta get rid of my premium,
Yeah.
right? You don't want the premium sitting there. That'd be kind of like if you had allowance for doubtful accounts or accumulated depreciation sitting there and you don't have the account that goes with it, right, the contra thing. So we gotta get rid of that too. Same thing if it was a discount, you'd have to get rid of the discount if you had one, right? And then how much cash did they pay out to get rid of it? 1,100,000. So what do they have? If they gave up $1.1 million to get rid of $1,068,000 liability, I think they have a loss, don't you? Loss on retirement. How much is the loss? 31,670. Ta-da! Okay? What would happen on the other side? They get the cash, 1,1 million, right? They give up the investment in held-to-maturity bonds. How much was it? 1,068 is what it is, right? 330. What do they need? Another credit for how much? 31,670. These guys had a loss on the deal. These guys have a gain on the sale, right? But why would they do it? Because they have a lot of extra cash. They don't want to pay the interest anymore. They want to get rid of it. There's a lot of future interest payments, right? So now they have the cash. Something happened, right? You know, new investors or, you know, sold a major building or something. Got the idea? So if I got the money, I might pay it just to avoid paying the interest in the future. And I just end up with a gain or a loss, right? The investor might prefer to have the future income instead of having that gain, but they'll take it, right? And the market price is changing on the stock too, right? So interest rates are changing. By the way, for the market price to go up to $1.1 million, what would have to happen? Interest rates went down, right, in the marketplace. Yeah. Okay, so you might pay it off and be able to borrow money at a cheaper interest rate. Let's do the other one. What would this be? Cash of $1,050,000, right? Investment in held-to-maturity bonds. This could be pretty easy. How much? Still 1,068, isn't it? So what is that 18,330, you guys?
That's a loss.
That's a loss on retirement, a loss on sale, right? Loss on sale of bonds, okay? Loss on the investment. What would these guys do? Debit, whoops, credit cash, I'm sorry, screw up. Okay, let's credit cash for $1,050,000. This looks just like selling building or land, doesn't it, or something, or an investment of any kind. Okay, and we got bond payable, how much? $1 million. And we got premium on bonds payable, how much?
68.
And what do I need? A credit for how much? 18,330 was it?
Yeah.
What's that? Gain on bond retirement. So if I give you one of those, big deal, right? What I'll do is I'll tell you what the face amount of the bond is, what the discounted premium is, and what they sold it for. Boom. Right? Okay, guys. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Work, work, work.